Good morning, Baton Rouge. It is hour number 1 of OTB. It's 7 in the morning. We're going to recap some NFL draft. It's a little sunny outside. Might be a little dark. We're inside, so I really don't know. But for hour number 1 of OTB, we're going to recap the Saints draft pick, drafting Jordyn Tyson. Everything NFL draft, hour number 1. This is hour number 1 of OTB, starting now.
Off the bench with Jacob Hester and Matt Flynn.
Let's go, baby, let's go!
From a championship backfield to your morning drive.
Hands to Hester, and Hester, yep, got it, 5 out of 5.
You're locked in to Off the Bench.
Flynn is back to throw from the end zone. Boom!
Live from the Raising Cane studio, here's Jacob Hester and Matt Flynn.
Welcome in, hour number 1 here on a Friday edition of Off the Bench. No Jacob Hester, no Matt Flynn, not even a Chris Marler in sight like we had yesterday out at LSU. Taylor Sharp here with you, taking you to your morning drive here on this Friday morning. We got a lot to cover. First round of the NFL draft comes to a close. We'll get into all that. Well, guys, I'm out for 3 days. I come back, they're on remote. Then everybody, Jake, Matt, and Alondra all leave me. Alondra's going to Starkville for the baseball series. Jake is at the NFL draft. I'll be very honest, guys. I don't know where Matt Flynn is. I don't actually know. We even talked about this last night. Where he is and why he's not here was not brought up. He texted me at like 9:30. Hey, I'm not going to be there tomorrow. And I was like, holy crap, you're not going to be here? Are you kidding? And he was like, what? I'm sorry. I was like, dude, the show's already done. Like, don't worry about it, man. Like, I got everything done early. But we got Jordan Kitchens. We got Braxton Rizzuto. Don't think we've ever had this trio here on OTB.
No.
Guys, how we doing? Jordan, I know you're not exactly a morning person.
Not at all.
To say the least. I mean, look, dude, the country club out there in New Orleans, dude, y'all don't wake up till about 8, 9 o'clock. I got it. But how we doing this morning? How was the drive in?
Well, it was good. Sometimes, bro, in the morning time, it's good like that. It's you get a clear mind. Sometimes that people take that for granted. Sometimes getting just a nice, I don't have to start my day immediately. It's more about just get that little point where I can debrief before you jump into that water. So that's where we are right now. Braxton's a little banged up right now, but I think he's doing a little bit worse than me right now, bro. What's going on, man? How you feeling?
Yeah, so
yeah, Braxton, you walked in this morning on crutches.
Yes.
I get a text saying, hey, I'll be there in like 10 minutes, but I'm on crutches. Got hurt last night. How did you get hurt? What happened?
Okay, so last night I was playing basketball at LSU. I guess it was towards the end of our runs, and it was a fast break. It was just me against somebody else, so one-on-one, and I was about to go up. As soon as I go up, my knee buckles. And I've
trying to dunk it too hard. Braxton, I told you to chill out with that, dude.
Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable, because why were you not watching the NFL draft?
Oh, no. This was like around 5:30. So
okay, so before, get right before the draft.
I guess it was good that I got hurt because I got home just in time for the draft.
It's good I got hurt. Oh, don't say that.
You had to tap out early.
Yeah, for real, don't do that.
They were like, we don't know what we're going to do without Braxton. That's our fast break guy.
I mean, bro. We're talking, this is the problem. That's what the NBA playoffs does. It hypes everybody up to be like, you know what? I can do this. Like, we're going to go out there, we're going to hoop like it's game 2 of the NBA playoffs right now. Bro, I just cannot. What we need to do is we just got to make sure this does not happen again, bro. No more fast breaks. You just got to start shooting threes. You got to move past that.
I can do whatever you want me to do.
He's here, man. Anywhere on the court.
This guy here, two-way player. Braxton must be just an explosive athlete. That's what happened, obviously. We were talking about this. We have Dr. Etheridge from LSU in studio every Wednesday. We're talking about 2 weeks ago, and it was like, why are there so many more Achilles injuries now than what we used to see? And my thought is people are more explosive now than what they used to be. Like, I was watching the playoff game last year with Jason Tatum when the game he got hurt. And we're watching it in the kitchen. Me and my wife are standing there. She goes, dude, that looks like a bad injury. I was like, we'll never have that injury. She's like, why? I was like, not explosive enough athletes.
Yeah.
I'm a guy who knows my limitations. I got it. Achilles, not going to have to worry about.
I don't know, bro, because sometimes, as we get older, you might take the wrong step, bro.
The stairs will get you.
Yeah, I'm about to say, you might just step backwards one day and just, you don't know what happened.
The stairs will get you.
Stairs or you know what? I've seen, it's like when old people, I say old people, put some respect. older folks, when they try and like race each other, like, oh nah, you know, they get a little drinking and whatnot.
that.
Yeah, they go try and
Pull a
race,
hamstring or
pull a
something?
hamstring, or just tear his
Oh.
Achilles right off the bone. Dog, I didn't seen it nasty.
Speaking of older guys, I do have to give props. Yesterday when we were running, there was he's got to be like 70, but he had the long socks up to his
Long
knees.
socks.
He had the shirt tucked in his shorts and like I have never seen these basketball shoes before, but they was working for him. He was
Chucks?
because he was running the entire time. He didn't seem tired. I talked to him. He was like, "Yeah, I used to play LA Fitness like before COVID, like for like 7 hours straight." I said,
Wow.
7 hours straight.
old dude.
Yeah,
He was getting buckets.
he was doing his job.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doing his job, bro. Just out there being you know, sometimes you need a glue guy out there. Every team needs a glue guy.
Right spot, right time.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta be honest. Maybe this is a little ageist on my part. I don't like an old try-hard guy. Not for me.
But it's good vibes.
No,
good vibes.
no, because they always take it way too serious. I'm like,
Yeah, hard foul.
look, buddy,
Oh,
let's go
Old
sit down.
heads can get you in the right like
No.
mode.
No, I'm out.
anytime.
I'm out on that.
Promise
I'm all the way out on that. Like, okay, we're at the beach, which is where I was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and they were doing construction. Which, by the way, we didn't talk about this yesterday, Jordan. We got gypped out of a day on the beach.
What happened?
First off, so we get there Sunday. Yeah, we get there like 4:30 in the afternoon. So we're not really doing anything that day. We basically go to the condo, put our crap up, go to dinner. That's basically what our first day consisted of. And we looked out on the beach, and like some of it's roped off, and like that orange, like almost like a little plastic fence, you know?
Yeah.
And but we were like, oh, no big deal. The condo next door, it's not roped off, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, we wake up Monday morning, fine, everything's open. What they were doing was, though, they had these long pipes going into the ocean, literally sucking out sand, shooting it out to the side, and like adding shoreline. Was
Okay.
basically what they were doing. Like they were adding sand to the beach.
Okay.
But Monday morning, it was all cleared up. We're like, perfect. We just missed it. No problems. We wake up Tuesday morning, the entire beach is closed.
What?
But I mean, like a mile in each direction. Basically, we would have had to have left the condo, walked a mile this way or that way, and then piled up. And there were so many people there, so we had a pool day.
I would have been mad.
Second day at the condo. Yeah.
I'm gonna be real.
It
I
wasn't.
would have been mad.
It wasn't. It's like, we didn't. This wasn't in the brochure
Most definitely.
when we booked this trip.
Yeah.
Wasn't a thing, but I mean, we made the most of it. Happy to be back.
No,
I got to tell you, having a buffer day of a remote show between the vacation and hosting the show today, much needed.
Much needed.
Like that.
You got to ease into that. You can't just jump right into that.
That had to happen. Like when we were when we found out Jake wasn't going to be there, Flynn was gonna
Somewhere in the world.
co-host on remote yesterday. Like we're texting a little bit back and forth on vacation. I'm like, look, man, like all else fails, you can't get anybody. We'll have to find a fill-in for me. Like we can do it, but I'm like, I
Don't want to. Bro.
kind
Come on,
of
man.
prefer.
I need to ease into it, but it's okay,
Kind
bro.
of prefer not to.
Gotta
but,
ease into things, man. It's okay, man.
we we're here, and look, a little bit happened last night outside of Braxton's catastrophic knee injury on the basketball court. A little bit did occur. So look, we do it around this time every day. Let's get this show started.
It's time to get glowing, courtesy of GoFlow IV Spa, where hydration, vitamins, and a summer-ready glow are always on tap. Now, for starters.
First round of the NFL draft in the books last night. We got started with the Las Vegas Raiders. Guys, no surprise they take Fernando Mendoza. It's been the worst kept secret for, well, really when he stepped off the field in Miami as the national champion. He becomes the first since Joe Burrow actually to win the Heisman National Championship and be the number 1 overall pick. Cam Newton did that back in 2010 as well. No surprise there. And then the second pick, guess what? It was chalk. About 2 weeks ago, we found out the name David Bailey kept hopping up the boards. I agree with that. I kind of from the jump thought David Bailey was the best pass rusher in this draft. He goes to the Jets. It's always kind of chalky early on, right? Like these top 5 or 6 picks, you can kind of guess where a team's going. Well, the Arizona Cardinals said not so fast. We're going to make a surprise here at number 3. Maybe not a huge surprise. I didn't think they would do it. There was a little bit of talk about it all this week leading up to the draft that they could potentially select Notre Dame running back Jeremiah Love at 3 overall. Well, they did it. They pulled the trigger and they turned in the card, and they do sign Jeremiah Love. They take him with that number 3 overall pick. That's interesting to me. We'll get there and draft winners or losers. Spoiler alert, I absolutely hated that pick. Loved the player, hated the pick. You can have both of those. And then the Titans go Carnell Tate. And my reaction was, thank God. Me and Jordyn talked about this. I came down in the second floor studio yesterday, bothered him while he was doing live at lunch, and I said, I'm letting you know right now, if the New Orleans Saints select Carnell Tate, number 8 overall, I am going to blow a gasket Friday morning.
You did.
Thankfully,
you did
it didn't happen. I like Carnell Tate.
I don't like him number 4.
I don't like him number 4. I don't like him number 8. He's never had a 1,000-yard season in college. He's never been the number 1 on his college team. Also, right or wrong, maybe I'm being unfair on this. I think Carnell Tate's being propped up because he's an Ohio State wide receiver. I really do. I thought the exact same thing with Marvin Harrison Jr. He's not panning out so far in the NFL. You get so many. It's like my theory with Ohio State quarterbacks that we laugh at all the time. I'm never taking an Ohio State quarterback in the first round because they're not good in the NFL. Nope. CJ Stroud wanted to prove me wrong. Now he's kind of coming back on the other side of the fence. He's kind of helping my theory, but it's kind of the opposite with Ohio State wide receivers. I feel like, you just get a pipeline and you're cranking out those positions. Look, a lot like DBs at LSU. Like, I get it. Maybe not so much the past few years, but for a while it's like, hey, talented guy. One of them went to LSU. Give me that guy. It's kind of that way with Ohio State. I just feel like if Carnell Tate played at Georgia, had the same numbers, like he's not going top 5.
He would have went where Casey went. Concepcion.
Yes, absolutely.
That's where he would have went.
I might prefer Casey Concepcion, honestly, but yes, exactly. Like, I think Carnell Tate's a good player. He is not 4 overall. To me, that screamed panic pick.
I still can't believe they went him 4.
I thought Jeremiah Love was going to go forward to the Tennessee Titans. I really did. I thought that they actually did a really good job getting some weapons around Cam Ward. They, Chimere DK, who was a rookie last year, had a nice season. They signed Wandale Robinson in the offseason, which
sneaky pickup.
Well, yeah, he had a back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, and
pickup.
Nobody realizes it. But
security blanket for Cam.
I thought Carnell Tate was a very panic pick. So look, there's your top 4, and it already got interesting at 3 and 4. And then before we go to break, Jordyn, do you have it?
Yeah, I have it.
Something happened. 8 overall, your New Orleans Saints. Let's listen to Roger Goodell come to the podium.
8th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Jordyn Tyson, wide receiver, Arizona State.
All right, so the wide receiver.
So it is Jordyn Tyson. That rumor kind of leaked out Monday or Tuesday. You saw a little bit more smoke come out that Jordyn Tyson might actually be the pick. They might even prefer him over Carnell Tate. I know, obviously, the discussion we just had, I prefer him over Carnell Tate when he's fully healthy. It's one of those picks that if I would have done this show last night, directly after the NFL draft, probably would have came in here a little bit heated, a little bit ticked off at the pick. The more I think about it, the more I sleep on it. I actually do not hate this pick. What we're going to do, like I wanted to play the clip of the actual draft. It's 13 after. We're actually going to go to break. When we get back, we're all going to chop it up. I'll give you a first-round reaction. Was it the right pick? Was it the wrong pick? Who the Saints maybe should have taken instead of Jordyn Tyson? We'll do all that next here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench.
All right, go to PelicanRoof.com, the website for Pelican Roofing in Lafayette, in Baton Rouge, boots on the ground in both. Got offices set up and always doing big things in both local communities. I mean, they got a community tab on their website because they are always helping out Lafayette and Baton Rouge. And, of course, they're helping out by giving you the best roofing company in Louisiana. You can check out the 5-star reviews, over 500 of those 5-star reviews right there on the homepage of the website. So go check that out today. Get your estimate ready to go at PelicanRoof.com.
Yeah, and we all know that the internet can be the cruelest and meanest place on earth, but not to Pelican Roof. When you go check it out, you can check it out on the home site. Go to any site. You can see that Pelican Roof, they got the 5-star reviews from everybody. So go check out those customer reviews. Check out the gallery of work that they can do right there. If you have a project, if you need a new roof, go see the experts right there in Lafayette and Baton Rouge. For you, Louisiana, PelicanRoof.com.
I've been popping my collar, popping my collar, popping my collar. Ever since I can remember, I've been working these. Then they better put my money in my hand.
Locked in on LSU football 24/7. You're listening to Off the Bench.
Popping my collar. Ever since I can remember, I've been working these. Then they better put my money in my
Welcome
hand.
back in. Friday edition here of Off the Bench. Taylor Sharp in for Jacob Hester and Matt Flynn, who will be back on Monday. Jordan Kitchens, Braxton Rizzuto along for the ride as well. We've Talked about it a little bit there in the first segment. The New Orleans Saints select Arizona State wide receiver Jordyn Tyson with the number 8 overall pick in the first round. He is your newest New Orleans Saint. And, a lot of different things have gone through my head since the Saints made this pick. Initially, right after the pick, I was like, I don't know about this. But, the more I sat on it and the more I thought about what Jordyn Tyson is when he's healthy. When Jordyn Tyson is on the field, he was excellent at the college level. I mean, you just look at what he did. I mean, 2024, that was the playoff run with Sam Levitt, Kim Scattaboo, Jordyn Tyson, and he actually did not play in the playoff game due to an injury, but 12 games, 75 catches, 1,100 yards, 10 touchdowns, average almost 15 yards per catch. Even at Colorado as a true freshman, he only played in 9 games, but 470 yards, 4 touchdowns, 21 yards per catch. He hit 700 yards in 9 games this year. He was on pace for another 1,000-yard season. 8 touchdowns in just 9 games. So while he's been out of the lineup with an injury, when he is on the field, he is excellent. He also gives you that big-bodied wide receiver that Saints fans have so desperately been asking for all offseason. He is 6'2". He is a physical presence on the outside. When healthy, he is the best wide receiver in this draft, hands down, no question about it. When healthy. We all know about Jordyn Tyson's extensive injury history. I mean, you look at, here's an actual breakdown. In 2022, true freshman at Colorado, he suffered a torn ACL, MCL, and PCL in his knee, which caused him to miss the remainder of that season and significant time in 2023, where he only played 3 games. 2024, right before the college football playoffs start, he breaks his collarbone. It caused him to miss that CFP appearance. Jordyn Tyson's on the field. Who the heck knows what happens? I still think Arizona State was robbed in that game due to that awful targeting call against Texas. I actually think the Sun Devils should have won that game even without a Tyson. And, you could say, okay, a broken collarbone, that happens. In football, you're going to get hurt. I get that. But whenever there's a lingering injury, that's what bothers me. So you tear 3 ligaments in your knee in 2022. Now, knock on wood, knee's been pretty healthy for the most part since then, but 2025, he dealt with hamstring strains in both legs, limited him to just 9 games a year ago. Whenever you see a hamstring, everybody kind of cautions because there's not a, hardcore like, oh, this is how you fix the hamstring. It's really just a pain tolerance, a rest issue, and then you can tweak it and mess it up here and there anytime. It's like when you see a hamstring injury, you're like, he is going to be limited for the rest of the season. We don't know when he's going to be back. You have hamstring strains in both legs. So that is the concern for me. It's not what he does on the field. When Jordyn Tyson's on the field, he's an absolute stud. But the fact that he went this high without these injuries shows just how good of a player he is. To me, if fully healthy, this is an excellent pick because I think you got the best wide receiver in the draft if he's fully healthy. It's a puzzling pick, though, for me, just a little bit, only because of what Mickey Loomis said recently. It was, I believe it was over the weekend, Loomis was talking about, what they're looking for in this draft. And he said, I want to be very risk-averse in this draft. And you're like, okay, he doesn't want to take a lot of risk. He takes what a lot of people are calling an injury-prone wide receiver here in round 1. My hope is that Loomis and Kellen Moore and whoever else was in on this draft decision and the medical staff did their homework, evaluated him fully, and decided, hey, these hamstring injuries are behind him. Hey, these college injuries happen. I mean, they drafted Tyler Shuck a year ago. He had a lot of injuries. Again, knock on wood, so far so good, but that was your second-round pick, and he was a guy that you weren't asking to come in and be a starter right away. Jordyn Tyson, you used the 8th overall pick. Like, I'm good with it when healthy. If not, it's going to be one of those. This is going to be one of those you look back on Mickey Loomis and Kellen Moore and be like, man, you nailed that pick, or dang, you really screwed it up. It's really just going to depend on the health of Jordyn Tyson. Because, again, when he's out there on the field, he's a stud. You got 6'2" Jordyn Tyson on one side. You got Chris Olave on the other, who you may actually be able to play a little bit in the slot, depending on if Devon Vele takes that next step that you hope he can, being a big body receiver in his own right. So I like it when fully healthy. Like, if you're telling me Olave, Jordyn Tyson, Devon Vele are your top 3 receivers all under the age of 30 with Tyler Shuck throwing him the ball, heck yeah, give me that. Give me that all day long. He's just got to stay on the field. Jordyn, I know you were a huge Saints fan, and, you and I were talking about this a little bit before the show started.
Yes, sir.
Right move or wrong move for the New Orleans Saints, Jordyn Tyson?
I think it's the right move. It's you feel a need immediately. I do have concerns about his health, of course, but same way how you said in the last segment that if I would have spoke immediately after the pick, I would have been a little upset because in my eyes, I did want Caleb Downs. He was on the board, and I still feel like he's one of the better players in this draft. And he went up going to your used to be Cowboys, but ended up going to the Cowboys a little bit later.
Yeah, totally not a Cowboys fan anymore. Totally was not watching their draft last night.
I'm just saying. So it's gonna hurt to see you rocking a Downs jersey, but I did want Caleb Downs, but it's still at the same time, it's because yes, when Jordyn Tyson is healthy, he's an elite special talent. The tape speaks for itself. This guy is 6'2", jumping all over the field. He moves like a ballerina. He moves like an actual gazelle. But man, if I'm willing to sit there and say that I expect the guy that was hurt all throughout college to just magically become healthier in the NFL, I'll be sitting there lying to everybody, and I'll be sitting here lying to myself. So he's on my team. I'm going to root for his success. His name is Jordyn. I'm Jordyn. So I want Jordans to do well. I'm never going to say another Jordyn unless you're Jordan Hawkins. But other than that, I want you to do well. So I want Jordyn Tyson to ball. And when you just said having Tyson on the outside, Vele on the outside, maybe put a slide Olave in the slot. I mean, bro, I almost jumped out my seat just now. With A-Chain, whatever you want to call my boy, in the backfield, boy. With Fuaga, Kelvin Banks, and I know you saw Tampa picked up Bain. So we got Bain in the division now. Monroe Freeland going to the Panthers as a tackle. So it's like you see what the division is doing. And James Pierce somehow not going to jail. So it's like, I'm about to say, somehow he's not in jail right now, but whatever.
I know you try to be a little funny when you say that, but
it's real though.
Bro, that's wild.
It's wild.
I feel like that wasn't covered nearly enough.
It's just like,
was it Asia Wilson?
No, it was Rakia Jackson. She was on the LA Sparks.
Okay,
She's now on the Sky.
Right. Rakia Jackson. They were like dating.
Yes,
broke it off, and like he just went nuts.
They both went to Tennessee, right? So they both went to Tennessee. Basketball, football player type of couple.
That's a wild
story.
And
this dude literally got tackled by the cops. He was about to run her off the road, basically trying to kill this woman. And basically now the state of Florida just said, hey, man, if you do 6 months of probation, yeah, you're good. Just stay away from her. Stay away from Rakia. 6 months of probation, you're good. So that just lets me know.
To be a professional athlete.
Yeah. That just lets me know, one, if you can get 10 sacks in NFL, you can basically do whatever you want. And two, it lets me know this. If you got one of these owners, bro, they're cutting checks so egregious. Arthur Blank. I know Arthur Blank just cut the most egregious check to the state of Florida for them to get James Pierce. Some way, somehow, this guy's going to be playing football next year. I don't know, man. It's disgusting.
Okay,
my bad, Bryce.
So
my bad.
You obviously like the Tyson pick. I like the Tyson pick.
I don't love it, but I like it.
Again, if fully healthy, they nailed it.
Yes.
If fully healthy, they nailed it. We're going to look back on this because, Saints fans can be irrational at times.
Very irrational.
Just like every fan base.
Yes.
You're going to look back on this after one season and 100%. Be like, was Tyson healthy or not? Wasn't a good pick or it was a good pick. That's what's going to happen, right or wrong.
Yeah.
That is how this draft pick is going to be viewed. But if he stays healthy, this offense has a chance to be explosive next year.
Kind of top five.
Right. In a big way. You're looking at this and you make one or two additions, which we'll talk about in the next segment.
Get Ruiz out of here.
Across that offensive line, then you're talking about an offensive line that you look by position. You're like, heck, man, this group can hang with whoever they want to in the NFL. So I'm gonna ask you guys this: Look, I'm good with the pick. You're obviously good with the pick. Is it the pick you would have made?
Oh no, I would have did Downs. Like I said, I still feel that just what Brandon Staley did with a Derwin James, I think he could have did with a Caleb Downs. I think Caleb Downs is kind of like a Derwin James, maybe not as much of a crash out like Derwin James could knock your teeth out, but Caleb Downs is just as cerebral. So I say Caleb Downs. What about you,
Braxton?
Yeah,
if GM Braxton Rizzuto is turning in the card,
yes,
and the players that were already taken are gone,
right?
Who would you have taken?
I'd say Downs or Bain.
Okay,
that Bain,
100%.
I probably would have leaned Ruben Bain as well. Look, the arms, they do seem like they're an issue to a lot of people. They really do. Yeah. I'm one of those people that don't care about measurables. However, short arms as a defensive end, that is a cause for concern, no question about it. And the fact that a lot of people thought he was going to be top 5 and he goes 15, it was clearly an issue for a lot of people. So he wasn't a perfect pick to either. I probably would have done that just because I think there's a lot of receivers left. Denzel Boston didn't even get drafted last night. So that's a guy that could have been there in round 2. But overall, I'm happy with it. yes, they pass on Downs. They pass on Reuben Bain. Look, Jordyn, I love Caleb Downs.
You're going to love him.
I understand that. He might be the best overall player in this draft. However, maybe I'm just of a different opinion than most people. I don't really think safety is a top 3 need for the New Orleans Saints right now. I think it's a luxury pick.
It's a luxury pick.
And I'm good with luxury picks, not in the top 10. I need a guy that's going to come in and immediately make me better. Will he make you better? Sure. But you just re-signed Julian Blackmon. Justin Reed was good for you a year ago. Jonas Sanker was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
He was a late round pick, so people kind of forget about him. But that's 3 safeties right there. I can get a quality depth piece at safety rounds 3, 4, 5 in this draft. The middle rounds of this draft are pretty deep. Like a Michael Taft, as a Key Wheatley. Like those guys aren't going until rounds 4 and 5. Like those were big time college football players. So I'm actually okay with passing up Caleb Downs. I hate passing up a talent like that. It's just I needed someone that would fill an immediate need at 8. I just don't know if Downs did that. And that's my only reason I would have passed on it.
I'll tell you this.
That's it.
Jonas Sanker, what I do, even though this is my Jonas Sanker right now, because you just brought it to my attention, what really makes him special for real, again, this is rookie year. We still got more time to see. But last year, he had a special way of always being around the football.
Yep.
Those guys that are ball magnets like that you can't replace, like that type of ball hawk mentality. Like, he's just around the ball, fumbles fall to him. Little things like that happen for Jonas Sanker. So you got a guy like that, and man, it's just him and Caleb Downs for the next couple of years. It would have been special. But it's cool. Like, I don't hate the Jordyn Tyson pick. I don't love it. I like it. That's where I'm at with it. I think does fill immediate need. And if he's healthy, bro, you got the best receiver in the draft by far. I don't think Cardinal Tate is no top 5 receiver.
Oh, no.
That's the thing. And to kind of, put a wrap on this segment, it's going to come down to availability. When Jordyn Tyson's on the field, if he is fully healthy, you nailed it. You got bar none the best receiver in this draft, and you have an explosive offense. If he struggles to stay on the field, if the injuries catch up to him like they did in college, it's going to leave people scratching their heads a little bit. That is what this pick is. This is an availability pick. We'll see what happens. But honestly, fully healthy, I love it. He's explosive. We'll see what happens. Excited for the future here in New Orleans. All right, we're going to take a quick timeout. Look, we're going to hit some spring football, some baseball later in hours 2 and 3. Hour 1's pretty much going to be NFL draft. When we come back, now that the Saints have Jordyn Tyson in the boat, he is a Saint. What do they need? We talked corner. We've talked edge. There's a position that I don't think a lot of people are talking about in round 2 that I'm going to bring up. We'll talk about all that next here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench.
All right, we are so fired up to be back with Rejuva-Me and RejuvaMeMedical.com. Several locations across Louisiana.
Are you kidding me?
Baton Rouge, right there in Bluebonnet and Jefferson. You've got also the Bluebonnet in Highland. You've got Prairieville, Metairie, Slidell, Covington, Houma, Shreveport, Monroe, Lake Charles, Lafayette. Also, you got some locations there in Mississippi, and they have been the leader in HRT, right? Hormone replacement therapy, helping you regain that energy, that boost that you once had, getting back to feeling like your normal self. Go see them today at RejuvaMeMedical.com.
That's right. Kind of like Groovy's maybe kind of a little wiry. If you're not feeling fiery anymore as a man, if you get a little bit older, you got that hormones, they start getting out of whack a little bit. Well, go there, get a medical, get a panel, get a blood panel just to see. Go see what's happening. If there's something, maybe it's not, but if there is, they are the leader in Louisiana for over 10 years at hormone replacement therapy. Go check them out. RejuvaMeMedical.com.
Hey, hello, they know, hello, they know, hello, they know.
Tigers turn talkers. This is Off the Bench.
I want to remind you about our friends over at Pala. When your project demands precision, experience, and a team that gets the job done the right time, the first time, you call Pala. More than 50 years, Pala's been a trusted leader across the Gulf South in industrial construction, maintenance, fabrication, and specialty services. You can learn more at palagroup.com. And you can see why the industry leaders rely on Pala to keep their operations moving. Again, that website is going to be pala.com. Pala, built on safety, backed by experience, and driven by results.
Back in hour number 1 here on a Friday edition of Off the Bench. Taylor Sharp sitting in the big boy chair for Jacob Hester and Matt Flynn, Jordan Kitchens, Braxton Rizzuto along for the ride as well. Look, we talked about it the first two segments. It was Jordyn Tyson, the Arizona State wide receiver that the Saints ultimately fell in love with, and they do take him at number 8 overall. And it just seemed like throughout this entire draft process leading up to it, everyone said, I would prefer defense round 1. However, if you get some combination of receiver, corner, edge, 1 through 3, you're happy with it for the most part, as long as those guys can come in and be starters and fill an immediate need for you. So the Saints have addressed wide receiver. Done. In my opinion, cornerback is the biggest remaining need. In my opinion, cornerback was the biggest need going into this draft. I would have loved Mansour Delane in round 1. Also, God, if I couldn't hate the Kansas City Chiefs anymore, you jump the Saints 1 spot way back when to take Patrick Mahomes. You jump them 2 spots this year to take Mansour Delane. I'm completely out on the Kansas City Chiefs, but you have corner. Edge rusher will be addressed at some point. Now, linebacker is a spot that I think they're going to address, but I think that's rounds 4, that's rounds 5. That's a little bit later in the draft. So who's available right now at corner and defensive end? I was very pleased with the way the first round ended last night because there's a lot of cornerback prospects out there that are still available for you. The first one that everyone's going to mention is Jermod McCoy out of Tennessee. I'm telling you right now, I would stay away from Jermod McCoy. It's just personal preference, only because Jermod McCoy is coming off of a season-ending injury at Tennessee. Not to hold that against him, but you just drafted a guy that a lot of people are calling injury-prone at wide receiver in round 1. Do you want to take an injury risk round 1 and round 2 in the same draft? I don't think you can do that. If this is any other draft, if the Saints would have taken, even if they would have taken Carnell Tate, who I don't think's nearly as good of a receiver as Jordyn Tyson, I would be okay with maybe taking a Jermod McCoy round 2. I don't think you can take Tyson and McCoy and be happy with that as a fan base. Just so many injury concerns. Now you got to rely on both of those guys to be healthy next season. What about his partner in crime last year at Tennessee, Colton Hood? I thought Colton Hood had a really good season. He was a guy that most people mocked in the first round. He was a first-round projection. A lot of people had a high grade on him. He slips. Brandon Cisse from South Carolina. Those are 2 SEC Power 4 starting cornerbacks from a year ago. They are both available as of right now. Now, look, you got to wait 9 picks in the second round. So if they go, they go. But as of this moment, both of these guys are available. Then you got Traden Stukes, who 2 weeks ago probably would have been there in round 3, the corner out of Arizona. There was talk on the draft desk last night that he could potentially go in round 1. That's a guy that shot up draft boards. If you want him, you may have to take him in round 2. Avion Terrell at cornerback. He's played a lot of football. So, those are the corners. But you got option at edge rusher as well. Zion Young, who I love, from the University of Missouri. When he fell out of the first round, I was sitting there and I was like, hey, Keldrick Falk and Zion Young are still available. Falk goes, and I'm like, okay, hey, if nobody takes Zion Young and he's there, that's a guy that I would jump at the opportunity to get. R. Mason Thomas, that's another guy who's solid edge rusher, shot up draft boards. TJ Parker from Clemson. Now, I get that, look, he had 5 sacks a year ago. He had a down year. I don't know how much you blame TJ Parker. That entire team was such a mess. It's like drafting an LSU guy this year, right? Like a Garrett Nussmeier. How much do you hold that against him as well? We knew Nuss was dealing with an injury, the cyst on his spine. We knew all that. But that whole Clemson team was just discombobulated from the start. The year before, TJ Parker had double-digit sacks. That's someone to look at. Cassius Howell, Texas A&M. Again, another guy that's played Power 4 football multiple years. He'll be there. So I think you have a lot of options at corner and edge rush, which, again, is why the more I think about the Jordyn Tyson pick, the more I'm good with it. The only reason I didn't want receiver is I was like, hey, there's going to be so many options here in the second round for you to get an impact receiver. You actually got a pretty good amount of options at corner and edge rusher in the second round. So, let's say you go corner in round 2. You go Cisse, Hood, Traden Stukes, Avion Terrell, whoever. Maybe somebody I didn't even mention. In round 3, you could target a Romello Height from Texas Tech, who could potentially be there in round 3. Again, David Bailey got all the hype. Romello Height, he had a really good season last year for the Red Raiders as well. And then on the flip side, if you go Zion Young or R. Mason Thomas or a TJ Parker, in round 3, Keontae Scott from Miami, there's a chance he's there. He's projected late 60s right now. Somebody could go get him. D'Angelo Pons who I love. I don't care that D'Angelo Ponce is only 5'9". You go watch him at Indiana. He shut down everybody he played against on a really dominant Indiana defense. That guy could play. Gabe Jaka's defensive end. He could potentially be there in round 3. You have a lot of options. Me, I'm taking best available probably between Brandon Cisse, Colton Hood, and Zion Young. Whoever you've targeted as the best available, provided those guys are there, go get them. I'm good with it. I'm drafting. If I take Zion Young, who would probably be my pick at this point in round 2, I'm doing whatever I can to get a Keontae Scott or a D'Angelo Ponce in round 3. On the flip side, if I get Cisse or Colton Hood, if I got to trade up to get a Romello Height, sure. Like the Saints have 8 draft picks. They're not using all those draft picks. Mickey Loomis never uses all of his draft picks. If he's got to trade back up a little bit to get a Romello Height, I'm good with it. I think there is a lot of options. So, like, Jordyn, we know corner. We know edge rusher and all that. Let me throw another position at you just to see how you would feel if the Saints take this in round 2.
Okay.
If Emmanuel Pregnon or Chase Basantis is there at 42.
That's a guard.
Both of them.
Okay.
Would you be okay with those picks?
Definitely the A&M guy. That's Basantis.
Basantis. Yeah, Emmanuel Pregnon was the Oregon guard.
Okay.
He played a lot of big-time football.
Okay.
Are you good with those picks?
Basantis, just because I know for a fact that means Cesar Ruiz's days are over with.
So that's my point. Either one of these guys. Let's say you draft Pregnon, you draft Basantis, whoever, and you're like, they're a starter in place of Cesar Ruiz, even though you need edge and corner. Are you good with that pick? I am.
Yeah, no, even if he doesn't come in and immediately start and he can be like that swing guard that you have that can just fill in like center guard, whatever, I'm cool with that too. It's just knowing that it's an insurance policy on Cesar Ruiz. Because we know,
right.
Like we all know.
Well, at this point, I'm not even calling it an insurance policy.
Yeah.
Cesar Ruiz can't be a starting guard in this league.
Exactly. So like you already know, and on top of that, you have that. You got David Edwards out of free agency, so your line is pretty much solidified. I have no issue with that at all. I still think we need that Cam because what helps out. I have questions about the secondary very much with the Saints.
Again, going into this draft, okay, you were like, hey, you need somebody to go along with Chris Olave. Yep, absolutely. You have Chase Young, you have Carl Granderson. You want a little bit more out of that position. Absolutely. Yeah. I don't think there's a number 1 corner on this team right now. Like to me, that's what I was about to get at. So that the point I was about to get at was that, I have questions about our secondary with Kool-Aid and Quincy Riley, but you know what helps a good secondary that struggles? Pass rush.
A great pass rush.
Yep.
So if you can solidify that, because we don't know what's going on with Cam Jordyn. And can we expect Cam Jordyn to have another 10-sack season at, 38, 37 years old?
Right.
We can't do that. All right. Chase Young, he took that next step. Let's see if he can take another step.
Right.
Gratison's super solid. I like Zion Young. I hate that we're having the same picks, but you know how I feel about Zion Young. That's just that ferociousness, that crash-out mentality that you need on the defense. He is that guy, and I think that if you have questions about this secondary, and you can still get a cornerback later on, but you still have questions, nothing helps the secondary more than a great pass rush.
Right. At this point, that's the whole point of this exercise, right? Nobody wanted receiver because you said there's going to be a ton of options in round 2.
Yep.
You got a ton of options at corner and edge right now. I love the way, again, that draft finished. It was O-line heavy. It was guys that
and running backs went at the end, so it was like, okay.
Jordyn Price was a terrible pick.
I'm about to say running backs went at the end.
They should have went one of their corners, a Cisse, a Hood, a Traden Stukes. Like they needed to shore up that spot. That was a bad pick by Seattle. They could have gotten somebody in free agency. They could have done what Jordyn Price is going to do. You use the first round pick on that. I don't like that pick, but I love the way it finished because I'm looking at it. There are multiple options I'd be okay with. A corner. There are multiple edge rushers I'd be okay with.
And there's multiple receivers I'm okay with too still. That's the problem, man.
Sure. But, dude, there's
your boy Braswell's still there, man. You know, he's nasty. Man.
I like Braswell, dude. Denzel Boston did not get picked in the first round.
Yeah, I'm about to say,
a lot of people thought he was a lock to go top 30.
Literally.
And he didn't. So, I mean, he's a guy that's still out there. So,
I like all these people on the board still. That's the problem. The second round is
and that's the thing. You could say, well, there's still receivers left. Yeah. Sure. But if they thought when fully healthy, Jordyn Tyson was the best value they could get at 8,
go get him.
Then do it. Hope he stays healthy and go get a corner and edge rusher, even one of the 2 guards we just talked about if they're there. Like, you have so many options here in round 2, which is why the more I sit on this Jordyn Tyson pick, the more I like it because I'm like, you know what? You're not in any different position you would have been if you would have taken
Bain,
or if Delane falls to you. Like, you're kind of in the same spot.
Literally.
Either way.
It just would have been flipped. It's just reversed. It's literally just reversed.
You're taking receiver tonight instead of corner edge.
Literally,
is all you're doing. So, like, I'm good with it. If they truly believe in Jordyn Tyson that much, which, again, when healthy, I believe in Jordyn Tyson that much. So, like, the more I think about it, the more I'm good with it, just because there are so many options for the Saints. And, like, we talked all the time about it's going to be hard for the Saints to screw up their first-round pick.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be hard for them to screw up the second-round pick as long as they fill one of these positions of need. Like, there's three. I'm looking right now. There's 3 to 4 corners I'm good with. There's 3 edge rushers I'm good with. There's 2 guards I'm good with.
It's like 20 people I see.
You
I
got
like.
the 9th pick. I just listed about 11 guys that I'm good with. Like, it's kind of hard to mess that up. So, like, I think not just the first round. I think the Saints are sitting pretty at 42.
Dude, it makes me wish we had more. Yeah, so yeah.
I'll say I'm looking through it. That's why I'm quiet right now. I've been currently looking through like the best available, just going like position by position. Like I agree with you, Taylor. Like there's a lot of like depth within not just one position, but like at least 2 to 3 of them.
Yes.
I think that we're gonna look back on this draft, top 3 rounds, and say
some studs.
There's a lot of
you may have gotten 3 day 1 starters for this team. All right, look, we're going to take a timeout, have a little bit shorter of a segment coming up to close out hour number 1. Then in hour number 2, we got Jace Lejeune of Gridiron Football hopping on at 8 a.m. Kind of recapping spring practice. Last media availability was yesterday. We'll talk about that. We'll do some baseball in hour number 3. That's all coming up here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench.
All right, go to trashrangers.com. When you go to the website, they're going to have the schedule. So if you are typically a Thursday pickup, obviously with it being a holiday, you're going to get picked up on Friday. If you're a Friday pickup, that moves to Saturday. The cool part is they're not just going to skip over you this week and you have all that trash pile up. They just move it back a day. Yes, they work on Saturdays over at Trash Rangers when it is a holiday schedule. So go to the website today, sign up for residential commercial service, roll-off dumpsters, 3 different sizes to choose from. Go to trashrangers.com.
Right, Trash Rangers, the most reliable trash removal service in all of Louisiana. But let me tell you about their Trash Rangers sanitation department. We're talking about portable toilets. I'm sorry. Don't look at me like that. We're talking about portable toilets. So if you got like a festival, if you got a construction site, whatever it is, make sure you give them a call for that portable toilet. They are number 1 at picking up. Number 2, trashrangers.com.
Back then they didn't want me, now I'm hot, they all on me. Back then they didn't want me, now I'm hot, they all on me. Back then they didn't want me, now I'm hot, they all on me. Back then they didn't want me, now I'm hot, they all on me. Back then they didn't
Tigers turn talkers. This is Off the Bench.
Now I'm hot, they all on me. Back then they didn't want me, now I'm hot, they all on me. Back then they didn't want me, now I'm hot, they all on me.
All right, welcome back in. Final segment here at hour number 1, Friday edition of Off the Bench. Taylor Sharp filling in for Jacob Hester and Matt Flynn. We are talking all things NFL draft. Jordyn Tyson, 8 overall to the New Orleans Saints. What are they going to do in rounds 2 and 3? Did they go corner? Did they go edge? Could they go guard and finally replace Cesar Ruiz? I think they have a ton of options here on this Friday as rounds 2 and 3 get started later on today. Both of you, how are you guys going to take in the draft on Saturday? Like, I know we're here working today. How are you taking in day 3 of the draft?
I really don't know, man, because I'm going out to eat for my birthday with my family. So I hopefully.
The birthday's coming up, right?
Yeah, April 29th. So my dad has to work next weekend. Me and my dad basically share the same birthday. I'm April 29th. He's April 28th. So we celebrate our birthday.
Braxton, you just going to be at home watching the draft this weekend?
Yeah, I say so. I don't really have much plans going on, especially with my
my boy's out crippled right now, so he can't
but yeah,
really do
I'll
much.
be watching the draft for sure.
Well, if you're going to be at home watching the draft, both of you are going to be doing similar things to Mike Vrabel.
Oh Lord!
Because Mike Vrabel decided that look, Jordyn, he wanted to go ahead and punish himself. He is seeking counseling.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is a one-day event counseling. I don't know if this is like fast-track counseling. He will not be with the team on the 3rd day of the NFL draft.
Man, that is just
our
huge.
guy is letting everybody know that he's basically just taking off of work on Saturday.
And he's humble, man.
And
like,
we're supposed to applaud him for taking off of work on a Saturday.
It's a humble beast, man.
It's not, I'm not skipping the first 3 rounds.
Yeah.
I'm going to skip 4 through 7, the guys that are going to have to fight and earn their roster spot that you're probably going to cut. If you make 4 picks, rounds 4 through 7, you're probably cutting at least 2 of them.
Yeah.
So just playing the odds here.
I'm helping out my coaching staff.
Mike Vrabel, he said, I promised my family, this organization, and this team that I was going to give them the best version of me that I possibly could give them. In order to do so, I have committed to seeking counseling starting this weekend. He said this Wednesday night. This is something that I've given a lot of thought to and is something I would advise a player to do if I was counseling them. Well, thank goodness he's not counseling players.
What does
I gotta
Travion Henderson
tell
think
you.
about this?
Yeah.
I want to know what Travion Henderson has.
man.
Where
Where's
are you,
Travion?
Travion Henderson? Let me hear what you got to say
got
about this.
Twitter into a stir.
Yeah, I know. Like, why you ain't saying about this? You ain't bringing the Bible verse out for this one?
I think it was one of those things where the Patriots were like, "Hey, Travion, if you could just
Like, please, come on, man, coach.
great
don't do
running
enough.
back. If you could just go, not get people in a tizzy."
You know who the real star of
We'd
all this
appreciate it.
is, though? It's Rossini's husband. He's the real star of all this, man. Because, like, I know too much about you now that I should not know about you, bro. Like, the fact that he was doing this private investigation for all these years and holding all this, they're like slow dripping all this information out. Next thing you know, they're going to have Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini on top of Mount Everest 3 years ago. Somehow a Shaolin monk took a picture of him. So it's like, I don't know what is going on, but it's happening. It's happening.
Well, I just wanted you to know that if you think you're worthless on Saturday, you're not working, you're sitting on the couch, don't worry, guys. You were doing something very similar to. Actually, I'm sorry. Mike Vrabel's going to be at counseling.
He's a counselor, man.
I
Respect their counseling.
I don't want to pry. I don't want to doubt the guy, but he's going to be at counseling. He's skipping that third day of the NFL draft. Okay, big. That's big of Mike Vrabel. Taking off of work on a Saturday. Props to you there, Vrabes. All right, that's going to do it for hour number one. Coming up in hour number two, top of hour two, Jason Lejeune and Gridiron Football going to hop on with us. We're going to kind of put a button on LSU spring practice. The last day of media availability was actually yesterday. Then we'll talk LSU baseball in hour number three as the Tigers got a big one in Starkville. That's all coming up here on Off the Bench.
Off the bench.
All right, go to KTOZBlinds.com. KTOZBlinds.com is the website, and that is a website for KTZ Interiors and Outdoor Living since 2004. Blinds, shades, shutters, drapes, screens, exterior motorized screens, pergolas, aluminum shutters. What am I forgetting? Awnings, patio covers.
Yeah.
They've
Keep
done
going.
it all
Blinds?
over at KTZ. You don't listen to me. It's the first one I said.
Draperies?
Said that as well. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, on the North Shore, they have got you covered. Check out their service area on their website. If you're listening to us in Alexandria, chances are they're going to be able to help you out up there as well. Go to the website, KTOZBlinds.com.
KTZ Interiors and Outdoor Living. If you're looking for, some tailored window treatment, they got a solution for every single room, every single style you can imagine. They got a trusted local team with 25 plus years of experience. They got complimentary installation and award-winning craftsmanship. Go check them out, KTOZBlinds.com.